Welcome to Built to Win, the podcast created to help you level up your business game by developing a success mindset made for the long run. In this episode, Neora's Dave Fleming talks with National Marketing Director Elaine White, who shares how direct selling provided her with a versatile career that she can grow with as her life changes. They also discuss how a culture of lifting each other up makes a difference and what to look for when choosing a direct selling company.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here again for your favorite podcast. I hope I can take the liberty of saying your favorite podcast, but we're here on Built to Win. And I am excited to introduce you to our guest today, one of my favorite people in the whole world, Elaine White, who is a national marketing director here at Neora. But we've actually known each other for almost 3 years now, if you can believe that. And we do share some things in common, especially a love for the Pacific Northwest, although you're no longer in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we won't. But Elaine, thanks for being on the program today.
My pleasure. I'm so excited. I love this podcast.
Well, this podcast loves you, and thank you for being our guest today. We're excited to talk to you, get to know you a little bit better. But and maybe let's start there. For those of the people that are listening and don't know you, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're like, what are you doing? Tell us who is Elaine White? What gets you up in the morning?
Oh gosh, life. Life gets me up. I love it. Let's see. Elaine has a daughter. My husband and I have a 23-year-old daughter, and she lives in Arizona, just finished her first year of teaching, first and second graders. And my husband and I just took a trip across country, left Seattle, Washington, drove cross country to move to a little town in St. Michael's, Maryland. So picked up after 20 years in the Pacific Northwest and moved to this small 1,000-person town off the Chesapeake Bay. And reason I could do that is because I have a business that can go anywhere. And that part, the whole trip across the U.S., I'm thinking, first, why have I never done this? So if nobody's ever taken a trip across the U.S., oh my God, it was incredible. Incredible. I don't know which state I like the best. And I hope you have the flexibility to do that. And I was just grateful every single day that I did and my husband did.
Tell us a little bit about that. What was that like? I don't know too many people who've actually gone cross country and done something like that. But what was that experience like? What were some of the things that you saw that were really impactful?
It was, well, we didn't plan it at all. A lot of people plan things out, and I am a planner.
You are a planner, so this surprises
me. I am a planner. I pride myself in that. But this we did not, because we just wanted to kind of, I don't know, play it by ear. We had a dog. We had a 100-pound golden retriever with us. That's why we drove. And we didn't have really any agenda. We didn't have any places to stay. So we drove till we got tired. We had an app called Bring Fido. And so when we were kind of getting close to where we wanted to stay, we would look for a hotel. And these are dog approved hotels. And it was fantastic. Oh my gosh, you guys, this country is so beautiful. Montana. South Dakota. We saw the Lady of the Rockies. I mean, even 90 feet tall, beautiful tribute to Mary and the Mothers. Saw her on Mother's Day. Overlooking the Great Continental Divide, arms open. It's a tribute to mothers, and it's incredible. 90 feet, beautiful. We saw, of course, Mount Rushmore. We saw lots of things. It was incredible, you guys. If you haven't done it, and I wasn't even going to do it. I just didn't want my husband to drive alone.
So, well, good for you. Yeah, don't let him drive alone. But I'm glad that's awesome. What a cool experience. I'm just curious, as a traveler and a huge fan of national parks and national protected lands. Did you have a favorite? I know some people say Mount Rushmore is you got to see it, but also don't get your hopes up. But there's so much great stuff around there too, like the Badlands National Park. There's so much cool stuff up in that area.
I loved it all. I think what I really loved was it all. It was the combination of seeing everything. It just made me really appreciate. I've traveled. I've been to lots of places around, but I've just never done it all in it was 6 nights. So we took our time and we stayed in 6 different hotels. And they were all actually really fine. They were good. I was a little worried You know my standards, but
Yes, I do.
yes, you do. Um, I think just the uh, the magnitude of it, how diverse it was. I mean, we had, lunch on the Mississippi. It was in friggin' incredible. I just all of it, like down on the bayou. I mean, like we did everything. I loved it
That's
all.
awesome.
I loved the diversity of it, I think is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. No, that sounds really cool and actually inspiring. Like as you're describing it, I'm thinking like, "Hi, I wonder like when can I do this? I want to do this."
Everyone should do it. Everyone should do it. It was spiritual. It was great for our marriage. It was great for the dog. There was nothing non-magical about it. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm just like literally living in gratitude, thinking, I can't believe I have the freedom to do this. I can't believe one, I, no wonder people don't do this because it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. So I was really, I felt very blessed, I will say.
Yeah, yeah. And let's talk about that too, because you mentioned like your business travels. You can do your business from anywhere, from the road even. And so, how long have you been doing this business at Neora?
I've been at Neora 13 years, and I was
Okay.
in this industry for 5 years, direct sales, 5 years before that.
Okay. And what were you doing before that? Was
Before
like,
that, nothing
yeah.
like this. I mean, I didn't even know there was a direct sales industry. I mean, nobody had ever even invited me to a party, or I'm like, never knew there was such a thing. So, I was in corporate America. I was vice president of administration, human resources, and for global, high tech engineering companies.
Wow. Yeah, that's not an easy job, is it?
It was a great job.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. People thought I had the worst job. I thought I had the best job.
Well, that's kind of your personality though. Like you're doing whatever you're doing is the greatest thing ever. So it's like
Yeah,
an
in my mind.
enviable, yes, yes. It's kind of an enviable trait that you have, Elaine. Like, whatever it is, it's the best, and I love
Yeah,
that.
well, it actually was really great. I worked with super, super people throughout my entire 25 years in corporate America. It was great. It's great. Did 13 acquisitions, and yeah, it was honestly a dream come true. Yeah.
And so what brought you to the world of direct selling? Because we joke in direct selling. I think I've told this joke on this podcast before, but like there's two types of people in direct selling, and it's the people who said they'd never do it, and the people who say they'd never do it again. And so I'm always curious, like you're obviously a very successful executive, super successful career, and like what made you look at direct selling in the first place?
Well, I was at a nail salon and I saw a before and after picture. Um, the owner of the salon gave me somebody's name. I called that person. She came to my house and sold me the product. And I asked her, is there a business opportunity attached to this? And she was like, oh, yes, there is. And she told this was not Neora. This is when I entered the world of direct sales. And I remember so distinctly, we were sitting in my kitchen, and she told me about this direct sales industry, I thought, holy smokes, there's a way. So I retired. So now I was not working because we adopted a child and moved to Seattle. So I retired early, and now we're on one income instead of two, but was spending like I was still on two. So, so I was thinking, wow, there's an opportunity here to make money from home on my schedule. I would be like, the word negligent came to my mind as I was sitting there if I didn't do this. So
Okay.
that's why I got in. I really thought it was a way to not um, leave my family. I waited a very long time in life to start a family. So I was going to do that full time because whatever I do, I go all in, as we said. So
Yeah.
going to go all in on the family. So I wanted something I could work around it. And I thought, well, this direct sales thing, this seems like something I could do. So that's how I got into it. And the girl was like, wow, Yeah. Oh, good. You're coming
She's like,
in.
yeah. Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
You want to do this? That's
Mm.
awesome. And what did you have any expectations about what it would be like versus what it really was, or was it just all brand new and you're just learning as you go and just the whole thing was like you tend to do, just enjoying the journey?
Well, I did think it was going to be a little bit different than and it than it was. I thought it was going to be more corporate like, because I just never
Yeah,
knew this. I never knew that it was like a helping environment, like people help you, people root for you, that people cheer you on and give you gifts and love. That's typically not corporate, that's typically not the way of the world. And
true.
so I did not know that side of an industry. I mean, it was kind of like that in my company, but in the world in general, people don't um help you, right? They don't want you to get ahead of them. They don't want to help you reach your goals, typically. And this was industry does do that. I mean, it wants people to succeed, right? People help people. And so that was new to me. That was like, wow, this is exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so then you found Neora after a little bit of time in the space.
Hmm.
And was there anything different about Neora or I guess going back a step further, like what made you want to do something different?
Well, my income was, I was with that company 5 years and I could see a decline in my income. So it was a great company. I mean, there's great companies out there. It was a great company, but it, the income wasn't sustainable. I mean, it wasn't like a business. It was like a little bit more like a sorority, actually. It felt like a sorority, than a business. And I wanted a substantial income in business. And so got a knock on the door about Neora and knowing that my income was going down and that Jeff Olson had started this company was like, wow, he was my mentor. He didn't know me, he didn't know anything about me, he didn't know he was my mentor, but he was, because the Slight Edge, I had read it back, cover to cover already 2 times. I was probably in the middle of my third time reading it. And I'm like, he's coming out of retirement to start a company. Jeff Olson, I was already living his Slight Edge principles, from the book The Slight Edge. And I thought, okay, let me dive into this company and see what is he starting. And so I did my due diligence on the company as if I was going to buy it. I'd bought and sold 13 companies. So I thought, okay, let me look at the leadership, all of what that means, the ownership, the leadership. Let me look at the offering of all the philosophy, the products, the patents, the science, and let me look at the infrastructure, the systems, the comp, the communications, the marketing. Did a thorough due diligence. I mean, as if literally I was going to buy the darn thing. I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm in. This is going to be the company of the 21st century. I'm in. So I jumped, left that company, um, and started with this company. And oh my gosh, 13 years ago. And it is a business. It is definitely a business. It is oh, it's changed my life. It's changed our life for sure. I mean, in so many ways, because all of those things got better and better and better and better. They were there and solid, and they just continued to grow and get more defined and better, improved.
Yeah. So, and when you say it's a business, like help me help our listeners understand what do you mean by that? Like because I think a lot of people look at direct selling and they think, oh, it's just well, they just like if you've not done it, it's hard to understand like what that means. Like how is this a business when you say that? Like what do you mean by that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean it. And the fact that one, it's willable. So it's like truly an asset. It's a business that you can will to your family. It's predictable. We have predictable income models. So it's a predictable income model, that we have. It is, in a market that is, a substantial market. You can look at the market caps and you can look at I mean, not our data. This is just the world data on our offerings, but the market data is. So it's, we're offering products that people want and need, and you can see kind of where we fall within those market segments. So, and it's not it's not that we're doing the marketing or the communications or the presentations. it's all given to us. So it's a business in a box, so to speak, as opposed to us trying to kind of do a little um, our own thing. It's truly a business given to us in a box, or on a website, exactly. A
Yeah.
branded website. So it's a it's a running business, is kind of what I mean.
Yeah. So when you and I think a lot of people think, or maybe I actually I've been in this so long I don't know what people do or don't think about it anymore. Um, but I think like sometimes people think that, oh, you've got to figure this out on your own. And it sounds like what you're saying is that, I mean, depending on the company, obviously, like the company's very widely in the direct selling space. But this company kind of prepares you, gives you the materials, kind of gives you the story, and then you get to, I mean, you get to build the business the way you want to build the business, but at least like the foundation and the principles and the things are there for you. Is
It's
that a fair
100%.
statement?
Yes. And in other companies, and I have experience with one, but I know obviously people in the industry, obviously, when you're in an industry 17 years, you have friends, just, you network with people. And so, yes, a lot of people have to do it all themselves, right? So it is a lot of work, and it's not fun work, right? It's work. And nobody really
Mm-hmm.
wants to work, right? I mean, people don't mind. They don't want a second kind of gig, thing, or little supplemental income or whatever, and have to work at it hard. They don't have time with so this gives you um um all the processes, all the systems, even scripts and things like that, that you don't have to produce. You share, right? You share. You don't have to work it. You just share it from your heart. And that is easy. Anybody can do that. In my prior company, I mean, like, I was making PowerPoints. I was doing the presentations. I was literally making all the marketing for me. And then the other leaders were making it for them. And so there was no consistency across the company. I mean, like,
Mm.
nobody had the same story. In
Okay.
Neora, we all have the same story because we don't make it. Like, we just get it. And it's beautiful, and it's real, and it's consistent, and it makes for a very concise, duplicatable. And that was one of the things I was looking for, is something that duplicates, because duplication is wealth. If you can have systems that duplicate, you can create wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, I love that you mentioned that. That's a when I was in Silicon Valley, that was kind of one of our buzzwords was, we called it scalability or duplicability. Duplicability? Is that a word? Anyway, but that was everybody is searching for, is like, how do you get this to be repeatable? And if it's repeatable, then you can scale it. It sounds like that's what you're saying here at Neora, which is great, which is awesome.
I don't know if I can say this, but I hope I can. So I had earned the car in another company, just me, nobody else on my team, in 5 years, just me. In
Mm.
the first 3 years in this company, Neora, that I'm in, myself and 85 people earned a car. So I didn't change. I was still doing the same personal development, still reading the same good books, doing all the same. So what does that say? Duplication. It says
Yeah.
systems. So, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, that's a really no, I think that definitely illustrates what you're saying, is like the results speak for the repeatability or the scalability of what you're doing here, which is important. And I think a lot of people who are evaluating direct selling companies, maybe they don't know about that. I mean, a lot of people who are evaluating direct selling companies, I don't think that they, generally speaking, really know how to evaluate a company because they don't know what to look for. And I think your background and doing mergers and acquisitions, and like, how to evaluate a business. And so I think that's a really cool perspective that you kind of bring to the table. And I'm thrilled that you get to share that with our listeners, because I think that's a really valuable skill that you've acquired. Um, in direct selling, there's ups and downs. Like every business has ups and downs. What do you find is the hardest part about the business you're in?
I think the hardest part for me is um, uh, when somebody like sees it. They see the vision, they see an opportunity for them to have some more free time or have some extra money. They get hope, and you can help them. You can help them, and someone steals their dream. That breaks my heart, and it happens. Somebody didn't hear what they heard, somebody didn't see what they saw, and it kind of pulls them back. It's like the crab's in the pot and they don't want the crab to get out and they pull the crab back down. It's like that. And it does happen. And people don't want people to get ahead of them, or they think they're protecting them. And so, I think dream stealers, that hurts my heart, because somebody sees it. They have the opportunity, and then they get pulled back down. So that's hard for me, because I know it's right there. They're on the edge. Come on in, the water's fine, and then
Yeah.
they, get pulled back to their life of, you know, where they want more, and they
Yeah.
get it.
I
That's hard for me.
Oh man, yeah. No, you're so right. Like that is such a and gosh, we could spend so much time just talking through that.
Mm.
And we have talked about that on this episode before, kind of that mindset. And why do you think that is? I mean, first of all, do you think that people would react the same way to any venture, or is it specifically around direct selling that people are maybe harder on it and more doubtful? And let's be fair, there are some companies out there that are in this space that have done it really, really poorly. So I understand if there's some skepticism around direct selling. But do you think that exists for other business ventures? Like, do you think people would say, I can't believe you're starting a franchise. I can't believe you're investing your life savings in like this or that. Like obviously in
Yes.
direct selling, you don't invest your life savings. You like $20. Well, in Neora, I don't know what it is to get started at other companies, but like, but what do you think about that? Like, do
I
people?
think they do. I think they
Yeah.
do in other areas of life as well. I do. I think it's those kinds of people that they think they're protecting somebody. I don't think they're doing it maliciously. They think that they don't want somebody to waste their money or their time, or they're going to get taken or stolen, or whatever, have a bad experience. They just don't, but they didn't hear the information. So
Hmm.
they're not informed. They're giving uninformed advice. But they think I think people, it's just human nature to, give advice,
Yeah.
and giving bad advice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
my
that's
opinion.
that's a really good way to put that actually, because it is. It's bad advice, but it's not maliciously given bad advice. It's just bad, it's just misinformed bad advice. I think that's a really good way to frame that. Um, if we were to flip that and say, okay, that's the hardest part of the business. What's the best part of doing this business?
It's like saying, what do you love best about your child? Like, everything.
Well,
I love everything. I
everything.
mean, you know what? Okay, the very best part is, the freedom. No, no. I could go on. It's every single thing. It's the relationships. It's the it's no, the best part is this. All of the best parts get to last forever, because I'll do it forever. And
Mm.
that is the best part. I will do this till the day I die. And I'm 68 years old. And to have an income stream and something that brings me joy, true joy, because of the people, and helping others, and the relationships and the fun and all the things forever, brings me the most joy.
That's cool. Well, and that speaks to you, who you are as a person, because you genuinely enjoy watching people, especially your team, succeed. And you've got a great team too. You've got wonderful, wonderful team. Super fun to hang out with, and just good people too. Um,
But imagine what at 68 years old do people do? Like, what other job, ha ha ha, do they have? I can't even call it a job. I love what I say I have. I don't know. Do I do it all the time? Do I never do it? I don't know. It's all the same. It's all blends.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Well, that's the old adage, right? Like if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Sounds like you've found your niche where it's not really, it doesn't feel like work, even though you're working, and you
never.
and you do
So
well.
yeah, but to know I'll do it. I mean, I'll do it forever. And my
Yes.
daughter will then, inherit it. And it's really remarkable. It really is.
That is one of the cool things, and I know not every company in direct selling is that way, but I know one of the cool things that I was witness to was a direct selling business that had five generations of the same family participating in the business. They'd been building it for over 50 years, and that's a really cool thing. Like, especially when you consider that anybody anybody theoretically could do that. There's sometimes we call direct selling like entrepreneurship democratized for people who don't have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a college degree. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million in capital invested. It doesn't, like, these things don't matter. Like, if you're willing to learn the business and work hard in the business, then you can create a business that, and again, depends on the company, but that can be handed down from generation to generation. And that is a really cool idea that I don't think a lot of people recognize. It's one of the most powerful things about this business, particularly.
One of the things, I don't know if I've ever even mentioned this to you, Dave, but in one of the companies that I only worked with three companies my whole 25 years, or two companies, one was a subsidiary. I was equal opportunity officer because we worked with the government. And as that, like, an equal opportunity officer is really a very serious role, and providing, a fair, platform and opportunity for all was key to me for decades. And this industry is so much like that. It is one of the reasons I love this industry is, like you said, it doesn't matter if you live in a big town or small town. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or you're 80. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter at all. If you put in the time and the effort, it doesn't matter. You can succeed. If you have the right mindset, the drive, the right company, obviously the right products, but anybody can do this business because it's an equal playing field. Like, especially in Neora, we all have the same products, we all have the same website, we all have the same comp plan. I mean, it's equal. I mean, everybody can earn the vacations. It's all equal. I love that. That is one of my very favorite things, because of just that equal opportunity has been drilled into me for decades. So,
Yeah,
and
no, I agree with that. I love that part of this business, that it is about as equal opportunity as you could find in terms of business ownership, entrepreneurship, and what you do with it, depends greatly upon what you put into it. The time, the effort, how seriously you take it as a business. But yeah, like, I've seen people from all walks of life succeed exceptionally in this business space, and that to me, that's really rewarding, and that's something that if you're out there and you're evaluating direct selling, that's something that you need to look for. Is, can anybody legitimately do this, or is this, do you have to have a certain skill set? Anyway, not to get on my soapbox, but I do feel strongly about that, and finding the right company in this space. What are you most looking forward to in the future? Like, what's next for Elaine?
oh gosh, well, there's like nobody in my town, even though it's a little town of St. Michael's, 1,000 people. My very best friend of 50 years is the only person doing Neora here. So we will own the town. We will bring Neora to this town, and which means that I know what that means. I know what that feels like. It's a community. It means it's just fun. It's fun, and it's community. So I will bring it here, and then we'll expand to Easton, and then to Annapolis, and then to Baltimore. And, so I will just expand Neora into this part of the country. And I can't wait because I just, they don't know how good it's going to be. They don't know what's coming, they will be so happy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love your enthusiasm for it. I love your enthusiasm for life in general. Like, it's infectious, and I think it's great.
Thank you.
Um, what advice would you give somebody who's looking at this, whether it's New York, whether it's direct selling in general, but what advice would you give somebody who's looking at this going, I don't know. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should. What would you tell them?
Well, they absolutely can. If they can do it, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's like if they fall, hopefully it's New York, because I've looked at a lot of companies, and I will tell you, this is a company, but they can do it, and it really is about following a system. If they have if they have a system, follow the system. We have a system. If you follow the system, it's like a 2-year-old could do it, honestly, and it really comes down to, in my opinion, you're providing a solution. Like whatever you're doing, you're helping somebody. So, my prior mentor was Rita Davenport, and she recommended a book. It was "It's Not About You." It's Not About You, by Bob Berg, I think. And when you really take it away from yourself and you about helping other people, whether it's the business opportunity or their skin, their health, their, whatever, when you make it about them and you listen to what they need and want, you can't help but succeed. So, Zig Ziglar, says it best, right? You help enough people get what they want, and you get what you want. Paraphrasing his words, but to that
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
So it's true. And in direct sales, that's really what it is. So I would say anybody could do it if they listen, follow the systems of the company. We have the best systems, I think, hands down, the best system. We have one system, success system, it's called, perfectly named. Um, and that's kind of as simple as it gets.
Well, that's great advice, and I think people would be. I'm curious. One of these episodes, I think we're gonna have to. Maybe we'll have a panel. Maybe we'll bring you back. We can talk about how do you evaluate a direct selling company, because there are quite a few people at Neora who've been in direct selling before, um, and for various reasons have decided that whatever they were doing wasn't doing it for them, and so they're here now, or some lucky few that this was their first venture into direct selling. At some point, we're gonna have to do that, kind of break down like what should you be looking for.
Well,
I,
ownership to me, I would tell you the first thing I would look at is the ownership. Because the company I was in, GE Capital was part owner. I mean, like you had private equity firms owning it, which don't care at all about the field. I mean, they're not going to stand up for the field. So the fact that Neora is privately owned and will always be privately owned, that was huge to me. That was in the first number one of the legs, 3 legs of a stool. People should always, look at the ownership and the leadership. Deep, deep dive into that.
that's a really really good point, because especially with your background, like mergers and acquisitions, that's part of due diligence that you would, if you were looking at buying a business or getting into business with somebody, like you would 100% look at who are you doing business with, and it would be a grave mistake not to look at who you are doing business with in direct selling, like for sure. I could not agree more. Try not to get too soapboxy, but it's so important. It's so
And
important. This has been great. This has been absolutely enjoyable. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show and just sharing your story, sharing yourself with us, and just letting us get a glimpse into the life of Elaine White. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Oh, Dave, I just love seeing you. You're gonna have to come to St. Michael's. I can't believe that I'm not still in Sammamish, but I promise me you'll visit St. Michael's.
And don't take this wrong, my friends in Sammamish, but the crab cakes are probably better in St. Michael's. And I'm
Yeah.
and I'm I'm down to try. I'm happily be the guinea pig to see which has the better seafood.
Well, we're gonna win. We're gonna win hands down.
don't don't let your Pacific Northwest friends hear that you've already turned on them for the seafood, but they'll
Well,
survive.
yeah. Well, I love the Pacific Northwest. Always will.
Always will. I know. There's so much great stuff, and I know they miss having you up there, but I think Maryland is very very fortunate to have you and to welcome you there. So, and the great thing about your business is that it travels, so you can get back to the Pacific Northwest from time to time and see your team there. So
100%. Yep. Well, and that's the beautiful thing is that, I know that I'll see those people. I'll see them in Dallas, I'll see them at conferences. I'll see them, the beauty of this is that people said, "Oh my gosh, you're not going to do New York anymore." I'm like, "Of course." It's like right in my suitcase. It, goes with you anywhere. I'm like, "Yeah, I can go anywhere, I can move anywhere, and I'll still see all those people." So, yeah.
yeah, Yeah, it's just
Anyway.
lots of times we'll see each other in tropical beach locations, which is
Yes, we
which
will.
is always
Yes.
fine too. Best of luck in your new town of 1,000 people in St. Michael's, and thanks for being here. Really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, David. It was my pleasure.
All right, and take care, everybody. We'll see you next time on Built to Win.
That was Dave Fleming talking with Elaine White about how direct selling has provided exactly the career she needed throughout her different life stages. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you learned something from it, please share it with a friend or colleague who you think would also benefit. And if you're new to Built to Win, we invite you to go back and listen to our story from the beginning. You can find us wherever you download your favorite podcasts. And while you're there, please rate us and leave a review to let us know what you think of the show.